Okay, picture this. You bill one of your customers and a few weeks go by and you notice, they haven't paid. So you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I'm just checking in on that invoice we sent. And your customer sounds surprised and says, what are you talking about? I paid that last week. It's at this point you realize, something's not quite right. Sound familiar? Well, I hope not, but it is happening with alarming frequency and a lot of builders and contractors are being left holding the bag. Hey folks, I'm Eric Lunsinger with Ford Insurance, and I know this can be a scary topic, but let's unpack it and really understand how this happens, and more importantly, what you can do to prevent it from happening to you. So, a few key things are happening in this scenario. First, a hacker has gained access to confidential information. They know who you are and they know who your customer is, and from there it's a pretty easy jump to impersonate your business. Think about it like this. All a hacker has to do is get a hold of one of your invoices. Doesn't matter how. From there, they can doctor it up, add their own wire instructions, and resend it to your customers while pretending to be you. Now, this can happen a few ways. If a hacker is able to get into your email, then they have access to all the customers you communicate with and all the attachments you send back and forth. Think about that for a minute. How much information is just sitting in your inbox? This is an especially dangerous scenario because if the hacker has access to your email, they can easily send messages from your account and whoever is on the other end has no reason to doubt their authenticity. The other common scenario is that a hacker gets a hold of an invoice by some other means, perhaps on your file server or maybe your backup, a paper copy, or even from your customer's inbox. In this scenario, they do lack the ability to send emails from your account, but a clever hacker still has tricks to make it look authentic. I recently saw one example where a hacker bought a domain name similar to that of a builder and only changed one letter. They used a Q instead of a G. The customer didn't think twice and wired over $200,000, lost, gone, and it's still being sorted out over a year later. Regardless of how this happens, the aftermath is usually the same. At first, it's polite and everyone assumes that it's just going to be a simple insurance claim and then we can all go on our merry way. Unfortunately, many insurance policies will not cover this scenario, at least not off the shelf, and it typically ends up as a pure loss or in the courts. Now, this is important, and I'll say it again. Many cyber policies do not include coverage for this unless you specifically request it, and if you have a cyber insurance add-on to your general liability or business owner's policy, then it's almost certainly not covered. A second important distinction here is if you do have coverage for this, the policy will typically only cover the claim if it was the result of a data breach on your systems. So remember when I said the invoice could have been grabbed from your customer's email? Well, if that is the case, then your insurance policy has no obligation to respond because you were not at fault. This kind of sucks though, because generally what happens here is if the customer already lost that money, now they're either unwilling or unable to pay it out again, and you may have to go and try and collect. Now here's another interesting twist. As I said, oftentimes this will end up in court, especially if we're talking about large sums of money. It's not uncommon for the customer to accuse you of failing to safeguard their information, which they'll say led to the whole situation in the first place. The reality is, it's often very difficult to prove definitively where an attack originated from. Was it on your systems? Was it the customer's email? Oftentimes, a forensic investigation will turn up inconclusive, and this leaves the door open for lawsuits. An often overlooked aspect of a cyber liability policy is that it does have a duty to defend, meaning if a customer accuses your company of failing to safeguard their information and they sue or countersue for the damages, the money they gave to a hacker, then assuming you have the coverage, the insurance company will pay for the investigations, the technology experts, lawyers, and legal costs to defend you, up to the policy limit. Okay, I just painted a pretty dreary picture, but unfortunately, it's a real one for many businesses. So what can you do to protect yourself? There are 2 simple steps you can take right now that will drastically reduce the likelihood of this happening to you. First, if you don't have cyber insurance, go get it. Don't pass go, don't collect $200, pick up the phone, call your agent, get covered. Cyber policies are generally very affordable. Just make sure you work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Working with an agent who is well-versed in technology and cyber coverage will help you identify the coverage is important for your business. Also worth noting, many insurance companies will decline to write a policy for a business that has had a recent cyber loss or attack. The takeaway here is get covered before you need it, not after. We're licensed in 46 states and happy to help you if you need to talk to somebody. Second, 3 words: multi-factor authentication. This is when you go to log into something and they send you a code to verify it's you. Now, I'm oversimplifying a bit, but it is one of the easiest and most effective ways to prevent unauthorized access to your systems. There are a lot of ways to accomplish this. Many are easy, do it yourself, or you can even find an outsourced IT service to help you set it up. Also, many insurance companies will provide guides, tools, and discounted services to help you shore up your security practices. Make sure you ask your agent about these when you're looking into coverage. Now, beyond MFA, there are a variety of steps you can take to ensure your systems are secure and protected. I've linked an article below I wrote on some of the quick and easy ones that you can take with minimal effort. Okay, as with all my videos, this is not meant to be specific guidance for your company. Instead, my aim is to provide some context around the topic and hopefully arm you with enough information to go and take the next steps for your business. So thanks for watching, and if you like the video, you know what to do.